In Friday's Power Pool E, we see a morning matchup between Ironside and Truckstop. Truckstop came out strong with lots of big plays that kept their intensity at a very high level. Here we see Truckstop tied at 5 apiece with this floating forehand from Alan Kolick to Brent Bellinger, who makes the grab between two Ironside defenders. The deep looks were clicking for Truckstop as well. Here the lefty Ben Cohen has the disc on the sideline and throws a gorgeous inside-out backhand to the almost unmissable receiver that is Brian Stout. Despite trailing for the better part of the first half, Ironside was still right there with Truckstop as Jacob Goldstein swings to Jeff Graham in the middle of the field where he breaks the mark, getting it to a wide-open Ryan Todd in the end zone to make it 7-6 Truckstop. Truckstop would take half up 2 as a swing to the middle of the field leads to Sean McComb's touchy over-the-top leading backhand to an outstretched Kevin Moldenhauer. Great first half stuff from Truckstop. Ironside came out hot in the second half, rattling off 4 straight to take the lead, and they never looked back. After a swing to the middle, Seth Crockford spends some time scanning the field with no mark. He then calmly places a soft hammer in the hands of Ryan Todd. Ironside goes on to win 15-12. The other morning game in Power Pool E was between top-seeded Revolver and Austin's Double Wide. Both teams' offenses were looking good in the first half, and after some handler movement, Max Cook throws a great-looking cross-field forehand to Casey Hogg to tie it at 1s early. Revolver's offense looked equally capable as they worked the disc up the break side from Cahill to James to Mac Taylor on the sideline. Max sees the space and throws a beautiful inside-out forehand that leads Rasmussen into the end zone that makes it 2-1 Revolver. A nice around backhand leads to Kieran Thomas hitting Max Cook with a short break mark forehand. Cook immediately continues the string of breaks with a short backhand huck to Chase Hudson for the score, 3-all. At 14-10 and game point for Revolver, Cassidy Rasmussen falls over as he puts the forehand huck out in front of Josh Wiseman for the 15-10 Revolver win that guarantees them a spot in Saturday's quarterfinals. In the second round of Power Pool F, Chain Lightning and Sockeye square off in probably the most intriguing matchup of the round. The first half saw lots of turnovers from both teams, but Chain looked better on O and their D was able to convert Sockey's turns into breaks. Here we see Chain's D score with a huck to Robert White, who gets his defender to go up too early and he reels in the goal. It's 7-4 Chain. On the following point, Sockey's O gets it back after a turn when Joe Sefton gets a crushing hand block, and Joe couldn't be more excited. Sockeye handler Tim Garrett picks up the disc and quickly finds Moses Rifkin with a nice little hammer just outside Chain's end zone. Moses gives a quick dump to the lefty Adam Holt, who throws a flat break to Sam C.K., who ironically will likely be playing for Chain next season. Second half, Chain's D would rack up the breaks, frustrating the Sockeye O-line by converting on the Fish's mistakes. Greg Swanson of Chains shows off this perfect break mark backhand around the mark to Josh Zipperstein in the end zone. Zip was unstoppable and led Chain to a 15-9 win. In the other Power Pool F game this round, we saw Johnny Bravo pitted against Ring of Fire. The first half of this game could only be described as a rout, as Ring would take a shocking 8-1 lead into halftime with this big step-around backhand from Jared Inselman to Brett Matsuka. Ring continued their dominance as we see Jared Inselman again, this time going deep and fending off his defender to snatch a hanging disc in the end zone to make it 11-4 Ring. Bravo briefly found their form in the second half when they went on a 4-point run. Going upwind, Bravo's Hilka Snyder earns an under near the sideline, steps way out, and sneaks a perfect backhand up the line to Brian Bogle to make it 12-6 Ring. After a swing to a healthy Stephen Poulos in the middle of the field, he launches a huge forehand rip that two Bravo defenders are able to get under. But Josh Berkowitz goes up between them to make the grab for the goal and the 12-4 advantage. Ring will go on to roll to a 15-11 victory. The last round of the day was the always exciting quarterfinals play-in games. In the first, we had Jam, who played up from Pool H, and Truckstop, who lost both of his previous 2 games in Power Pool E. Brent Bellinger of Truckstop breaks free early in the first half and runs down this perfect huck just outside Jam's end zone. Michael McAndrew catches up and makes a nice goal-scoring cut. Brian, Mr. Slam Stout, finds himself 15 yards outside the end zone with the disc, but Jam plays some great dump defense, shutting down 2 dump looks. A few pivots later, Stout has to get rid of it, and he lifts a backhand over the defense, and it's pulled down for the truck stop goal. Though truck stop kept it relatively close in the first half, Jam ran away with it in the second. Here, Bart Watson pivots and hits Ron Kubalanza in the middle of the field. Ron unleashes a picture-perfect backhand out in front of Jonathan Hester, who makes the one-handed grab look easy. Jam would coast to a 15-8 win and a shot at Chain Lightning in Saturday's quarterfinals. In the other quarterfinal playing game is Goat, who played up from Pool G, and Johnny Bravo, who was winless in Power Pool F. After a scuba from John Hassel to Andy Ochterlony in the corner just outside the end zone, Andy dumps to Derek Alexander. Derek scans upfield and eventually throws a cute high-release backhand over his mark to Tolia Vasiliev for the goal. Later, we have Goat swinging the disc out to John Hassel on the sideline, where he without hesitation bombs a huge backhand down the line that hits David Pilcher perfectly in stride for another Goat goal. The latter part of the second half was neck and neck, with both teams trading points. Julian Dahl has the disc in the center of the field, about 10 yards outside the end zone, as he waits for a cut to develop. Keith Borsheim comes across the width of the end zone, and Julian throws a beauty of a high-release break-mark backhand, and Bravo scores. Bravo's D would break to win in an exciting 16-14 finish.